Hello everyone! Today I wanted to share a tutorial for this spiced latte inspired makeup and sprinkle in tidbits about how my fall has been thus far. I really wanted to channel the feeling of a sweet, aromatic, fragrant, and warm latte for the perfect fall morning. For the first step, I'm doing my base makeup and I'm using a tinted sunscreen to even out my complexion. To jump back into the fall discussion, I'm from California, so the temperatures have been fluctuating a lot, but the best indication for fall is the leaves changing color. I absolutely love stepping on fallen leaves that have been dried in the sun and sound so crunchy and satisfying to step on, making that sound. Oh my gosh, it totally makes my day. For step 2, I'm using this really wonderful concealer that is the best at covering up my poor decisions, aka not getting enough sleep and also getting pimples. So here I am putting it under my eyes, and then I'm gonna use it to cover up any pimples that I have from not being a good kid and getting enough sleep. So to segue back into our fall discussion, currently it is November and I cannot believe that it is the 11th month of this year. There are less than 2 months left before 2026, and that is so surreal to believe. I'm just going in with my beauty blender. It's a Real Techniques sponge, and I'm just blending out my concealer. But it has been such a wild ride, 2025. I feel like this year has just been a roller coaster of emotions, of personal growth, of learning a lot of new lessons that I'm really glad that I've continued to be pushed out of my comfort zone, even though I really love staying there. But this has been such a wonderful year of growth, of reflections, of learning, of creating new connections. So I'm so grateful for how this year has gone. So right now we are going to dip right into the eye makeup. I'm starting off with the shade called Tempura. It is the shade of my skin tone. So it's a really wonderful base eyeshadow that I always love to use under all of my eyeshadow looks. That's why when I showed it, there's none of it left. But the next shade I'm using is Warm Taupe. It's this really, really beautiful light brown shade. It is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a really beautiful warm brown color, and it serves as a really nice base brown shade for this makeup look, and it definitely looks like some of the lattes I've been drinking throughout this month. So after I finished going in with Warm Taupe, I just made sure I used my blush to kind of blend it around nicely and make sure it doesn't look too patchy all over my eyes, and just checking it repeatedly to make sure it looks very even. And then I decided to zoom in to give a better view of what the eye makeup looks like. This next shade I introduced is Burnt Orange from the same palette. I'm using the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this palette to death. It has all the best shades that I need. And so throughout this process, I just keep layering the orange and brown eyeshadows, alternating until I see something that I like. And for this next step, I am doing my eyeliner, and instead of using a liquid liner or gel liner, I used the color Cypress Umber from the palette, which is a really beautiful dark brown color. And I just made sure that my eyeshadow brush tip was very thin so I could create a really, really precise wing. And I think the best tip that I can share for getting really good at doing eyeliner is just to practice every day. it took me like days upon days, years upon years of practice to be really good at eyeliner, and I'm able to finish it in just a few flicks and get it done within seconds because I just did it over and over and over again when I was like 13 in my little bedroom practicing. So if you want to get good at winged liner, this is my little tip for you. It's not really a hack, it's just really a lot of practice. And for the next step, I'm just curling my eyelashes and prepping them for mascara. This mascara that I'm using is the Heroine mascara. It is from a Japanese brand. And what I really love about it is that it's waterproof and it really holds the curl of my lashes, which is really important for me because my lashes tend to stick downwards and they're really hard to curl. But the wonderful thing about this mascara is that it keeps it upright, and you know, even if my lashes fall throughout the day, it still looks very pretty and very natural. So I definitely recommend the Heroine mascara. It's pretty big all over the internet, and for good reason. This is my holy grail and I'll always recommend it to anyone. So as I'm doing my lashes, I wanted to talk about my fall. Go back to that discussion. And so October was really wonderful. I got to see a lot of beautiful pumpkins. I got to spend time with my family, and I got to experiment with a bunch of different Halloween costumes. And it was so fun. Did you guys do anything fun for Halloween? If you did, please comment down below because I'm itching to know. So this is how the winged liner turned out. And for the next step, I just put this color Primavera on the inner corners of my eyes and under my bottom lashes to create an aegyosol look. I didn't really show the process because I realized that none of the footage showed what I was doing. But this is how it turned out. And for this step, I'm actually correcting my blush because I put on way too much. And for the final step of this makeup look, I'm going in with this Kosas Wet Lip Oil in the shade Unbuttoned. It's this very beautiful neutral lip color. Online, it described it as a soft, warm blush, which I think is the perfect way to describe it. I chose this lip shade for this makeup look because I wanted the makeup for the lips to look like a My Lips But Better kind of feel, because I wanted the focus to be on the eye makeup, not the lip makeup, and I think if the lip was too bold, it would drown out all of the hard work that I did for the eye makeup. But as you can see here, I'm just putting on this lip shade. And what's really interesting about this stage of life is that I love a really good glossy lip color, but back then when it was like 2013 to 2015, the only color that I wore was matte liquid lipstick shades because that was what was in at the time. And it's so funny because I feel like kids these days will never know. Okay, I'm rambling way too much, but this is how the look turned out. This nice brown makeup look and this pink lip. And I decided to accessorize with a clip and some glasses. Here I am sipping my coffee, and it's time to say farewell. Bye everyone. I just wanted to shout out Dennis Pavlov Music for the wonderful background music in this video titled Romantic Jazz Rendezvous Relaxing Evening Fireplace. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.